Good afternoon, my friends. It is not Wednesday, it is a Thursday, but there's still bonus good for you this week. The Easter specials, unfortunately, are going to be coming to an end probably at the end of this month. I don't know if they're going to extend it or anything like that, but I think it's probably going to be culminating at the end of April. The clearance deals will continue until those are out of stock, but the Easter deals, of which there are some really nice ones, you ought to have a look at them because there's only going to be a few days left. It's just been payday. Now's your time to strike. And there's these deals as well aren't actually in this main special section. Nothing really has been added since I did the roundup of these. There are a few items here and there, mostly from Deep Cool, like things like this that have been added, some Gamax coolers and that sort of stuff. But there's nothing like massively changed from when I did the sort of more candid video where I went through section by section and had a look at what the deals and stuff were in each of those sections. So if you need a reference point for that, I'll create an annotation so it pops up for you at the top. But without further ado and without further gilding on the lily, let's jump into a top 10. So from the deals section, which is separate from everything else, I've picked the T80. I really like this wheel. It's like an arcade band driven sort of experience. It's pretty accurate though. I have to say, the way that it feels and stuff, it's really accurate. So it'll give you like a sim car kind of vibe without all of the feedback. It's got decent rotation. Everything's programmable on PC. Can be used in a PlayStation mode or PS/PS3 mode as well. But the PS4 then connects with your Steam, and then you can use anything with Steam with this, with the Steam Big Picture mode. At number 9, I'm throwing in the Wave 1 again because it's still on special. It's still a really good price and it's still pretty much one of the best USB microphones. Like I said in the last video, for about 1,700 you can get pretty similar quality to this, but the software is worth just that extra couple $100, especially if you're not an audio professional that can build your own filters and stuff. Then this is going to be really good for you. At number 8, it's the first of the Nvmes, this being a Gen 4. It's really nicely spec'd. The read and writes look disgusting. A data XPG stuff comes with a really nice heatsink on it as well, so if your board doesn't have, then you can. I'd assume for most PCI Express 4.0 boards it's going to have that. You'll be able to probably remove that, but it's just nice that it is there. The price versus performance here though is the reason that I'm throwing it in. A 1 TB for 2,800 Rand is pretty much the cheapest 1 TB with those sort of read and writes, and then they do the 5-year local warranty as well, so it's very in line with the rest of the market. A feature set wise, just their price right now, like you can see with the list price versus the discounted price right now, there is a bit of discount on this. I'd say it's like probably about 20% actually. At number 7, it's quite a nice panel here from Viewsonic. It is a VA, so expect a little bit of smearing outside of using MPRT. It does have that for the 1 millisecond response time, but for 27-inch curved 165 Hz, this is just a really solid price at 4.5. It doesn't have a periscope neck or anything fancy like that. It's got the obligatory normal dual HDMI with a display port and then the base mount over here in the middle. So it's got all the decent basic functions. I believe this unit also has two 2-watt speakers in it, so you can use like console direct into there. I don't know if it's going to run at 120 Hz or anything like that on the console. I actually really need to get a console to be able to test those sort of things, if there was any stock, am I right? But just from the base spec and the price, warranty included, it seems pretty solid. Running on the top half at number 6 is Klevv CRAS XR 4000 MHz DDR4. As DDR5's coming in, the DDR4 price is just getting lower and lower for their free speed. So if you've got like a single 16 gig 2666 memory module and you've got a board that can actually do DOCP and XMP profiles, then look no further, because these have worked flawlessly on every single system I've run them on. I even did the DDR4 versus DDR5 video with my CRAS X 3600 MHz kit, and that's the DRGB version. So this one's got a really nice RGB on top. They are very pretty memory modules, these, and like it's showing here, 1-step memory overclocking. You literally just press a button, it loads the XMP profile for you in your BIOS, and then you're for away. So premium DDR4 versus DDR5, the premium DDR4 just becomes even cheaper. Breaking into the top half at number 5, it's an E3000 512 gig for 700 Rand. For 700 Rand, you can now get a 512 gig Nvme. It's like cheap. It's the same price as like what it was to buy a spinning disk 500 gig back in the day. This is killing me. Why couldn't that just been the price in the old day? Anyway, it's the price now. It's a Gen 3, so it's going to work on all of your older devices. Pretty much the max speed that it can do. is that I've tested the Gen 3s. The bus really runs out of speed at like 3,700 to 3,800 megabytes per second at least. So that's pretty much the maximum that you're gonna get. It's the maxed out Gen 3 sort of experience, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. And I absolutely love the Hikvisions. I have an E1001 TB and an E2000 512 gig like this, and they just never skip a beat. I've never had a single issue from any of the storage. Oh, and we have a 2 TB on the test bench, so I've got 3 drives. I hammer them daily and they just carry on. And number 4, it's a 240 hertz from AOC with a 4-year local warranty, true 1 millisecond response time. Having used the 360 hertz recently, I can attest to their response times on their panels being very, very good. And this is, well, it's a 240 hertz. Yes, it's a 24, I know, but it's got a good brightness rating as well, contrast rating. Everything looks really good on paper. Like, this should be good. It's got that periscope neck, it's got some channeling for your cables, and did I mention it has a 4-year warranty? It's one of the things about AOC that's kind of nuts. $6,000 for all of that. It's very much in line with the rest of the market, let me put it that way. And number 3 is a 6600 XT. Love these cards. They are the new Toyota Taz of the GPU world. As far as 2021 and 2022 goes, they literally are now the Toyota Taz of the GPU world. You can do anything on 1080p, absolutely no problems. On average, this has 7% better performance than a 2070 Super. And brand new, it's 9K. $9,000. And it's ASUS. Just look at it. Like, it's just a really, really nice card. The ROG Strix are just It's got all the right curves in all the right places, and let's put it that way. Very, very nice GPU for the cash. At number 2, it's the first of the upgrade kits. This one is the more premium of the two, which is why it's not quite as good value as the other one that I'm going to show you. But on the base price of this, what you're getting here is kind of nuts. 12700K plus a Z690, so you can overclock it. Nice board as well. Pretty decent power phasing. You could probably do a 12900K without the overclocking on this, but a 12700K I think is going to be good enough for most. I mean, this is still like an absolute monster of a processor. So it's pretty much you're going into the top ends of processor performance with this, and it will chew more than 125 watts, so much I can tell you, especially because you'll have a decent water cooler on it, which will help out a lot having a 240. But one of the nicer attractions here is this Premium DDR4 life with the 3600 CL18, and I literally did my 12600K benchmarks with that, so I'll put an annotation up for you in the top so you can see the DDR4 versus the DDR5, and then you can make a decision from there. But honestly, this setup right now for this amount of money, I mean, at 13.5 is basically what we would pay for a 12 core CPU before. Now you're getting a CPU plus RAM plus a board for like 13.5. So it'd be like, I'd say 11K just for a 12 core CPU before in market on average. So for like, it's come now like $2,500 extra. You're getting all the other finishing components for it. This is really solid. But what if you don't have 13,500 Rand for motherboard, processor, and RAM, and you still want a game? Well, this is what I would steer you towards. Honestly, this little 12100F is kind of nuts. I went through the results and everything from Tech Power Up. I absolutely love that site. If you guys want any reference points for performance, they are so on the money, so consistently. Even from my own testing, looking at their testing, their stuff is like really, really good. So if you ever want a reference point, just go to Tech Power Up and look at their reference points for stuff, which is exactly what I'm going to show you now, and how well this little 12100F performed. It's basically just a quad core, like a new generation of their old generation quad core done on a 12nm process. You're going to have to get the new motherboard and new RAM, etc., to be able to support it, but this comes all included with a DDR4 bundle with the exact same memory as before, just a way more entry motherboard, more than you're going to need for this sort of setup. If you were to pair this with that 6600 XT before, you're going to have a good time, and you're going to have one of the best gaming experiences possible. Let me motivate that by showing you Tech Power Up's results and what they found and did. So they had 3200 CL16 over there. They just took off the power limits over there. Then they had like a stock DDR5 setup with the 4800 megahertz. You can see there's a tiny performance difference between the two. But with some overclock, suddenly this thing's punching way above its weight category. Look at the chips that it's beating over here. 11600Ks. The 5600X in some of the tests even fell behind on Borderlands 3, for example. There's Battlefield 5. I mean, the 5600X barely beat it. 4 frames. You're going to tell me you're going to see a difference between 4 frames? I very much doubt it. But look at the performance gains there. Just for some overclocking and stuff that they could do with like a basic setup of it. Even the base one. Look at the other chips that it's beating. Look at some of these chips that are in the list over here. It's really, really solid. It's a really, really good processor. I mean, there's the old 9100F, the old quad-core. Just to give you an example of how far we've come already. Just that, just in like 2 generations, or say 3 generations now. It's really, really good going. So I honestly think for where budget gaming is concerned, this is probably the best setup that you can get. Like I say, you take a 6600 or 6600X, literally any GPU you want. That was with 3080. Those tests were with a 3080. Literally any GPU you want, you're going to have a good time. Anyway, that is all I have for you in your buyer's guide this week. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please do hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.